Hello, today on CivilNet we are talking with internationally renowned novelist Amitav Ghosh, who is our special guest today. Thank you for being at CivilNet and welcome to CivilNet.
Thank you, Diana. It's a great pleasure. It's wonderful to be in this city.
I know that you are here for a conference on strategies of unsilencing that is being held in Armenia in Yerevan on October 26 and 27, and you will be talking about bonds between Armenians and Indians in Syria at the death camps in 1916-1918. Could you please tell us a little bit about your work in connection to this topic?
Well, it's an extraordinary set of coincidences, really. Because the conference, Niri Melkonian invited me because of my books, which actually have nothing to do with Armenia at all. And, they're more about India and China. But it so happened that when she sent me the invitation, I was reading a book by an Indian prisoner who had been in Syria, imprisoned in Syria. And he writes at length about, seeing the massacres of Armenians and the aftermath of the massacres of Armenians, and also about the relationships that developed between Indian prisoners and Armenians at those camps. So I thought it's something important, really, that maybe Armenians should also know about. So it was a strange coincidence, and I'm very happy that I can be talking about it.
Your book, The Glass Palace, was nominated for consideration for Commonwealth Writers' Prize, but you rejected the prize, not really agreeing with having to present an English book for a Commonwealth prize. What really was your motivation for rejecting?
Well, the book, The Glass Palace, a lot of it is about Indians, who were fighting the British Empire, And the Commonwealth, in effect, it's a kind of, it's an organization that is a sort of, how shall I say, a certain memorialization of the British Empire. So I felt it would not be appropriate for that book, In writing that book, I had spent a lot of time talking to Indians who had been involved in the struggle against imperialism. And I felt it would not be fair to their memory, if the book were, not that the book, it's not like it won the prize, it was just in the list for the prize. But I decided, it was just not something that I wanted to be involved in, and so I withdrew the book.
Most of your work is connected with Indian issues, talking about Indian culture, Indian identity, as well as some China topics appear as well. It seems to me that the themes of identity, migration are really central to the work that you do.
I don't believe in identity. I don't think it refers to anything real. I think people have multiple identities. Everyone has multiple identities. I mean, even if I live in India, I'm from a part of India which is Bengal. Now I live in another part of India as well, and I'm an Indian, I'm an Asian, I'm so many things. So, and I'm a New Yorker, So I just don't think that it's, I've never understood this whole question of people having just one identity, I mean, for example, when I was a kid in school, we had Armenian kids, who were studying with us. They had their identities, we had our identities. Some of them overlapped, some didn't overlap. But I think it's very important for people to accept this notion that, that everybody can and must have many identities.
You have won very many prizes as a novelist, internationally well known. What is the value of all these prizes?
Prizes are nice. They're very nice, really, and it's great to have that validation of your work. And I think it's also different over time. I mean, like when you've written your first book and you're really young, a prize can help a lot. It can also do a lot of harm. I mean, many people get prizes and after that they never write again, So, it's a two-edged sword. But, for me, really, the real prize of writing is just writing, I love writing. It's the only thing I know how to do. And to me, it seems just amazing that, I can get up in the morning, I can spend my whole day writing. for me, really, a day spent writing or a month spent writing, you know, is the ultimate prize. It's worth more than anything else.
Reflecting on environment, I know you are very passionate about environment and working on environmental issues as well. What are some of the issues that India is facing environmentally and that you have been connected with?
In India, there's a whole range of environmental issues to do with mining, the degradation of, you know, of farmland. The issue that really I think about most and that concerns me most really now is, I would say, climate change, you know, because India is extraordinarily vulnerable to climate change issues. I'm from Bengal. Bengal is a deltaic area, you know. It's 100 million people in Bengal live within 1 meter of sea level. Already we see any change is going to threaten millions and millions of lives. Not only that, you know, often with climate change issues, it impacts on other sorts of conflicts and becomes a sort of multiplier of conflicts, you know. So across the board, I think that, you know, this is really the critical issue we face. You know, I mean, there's really, in a sense, almost nothing more important than this. At the same time, you know, all sorts of environmental issues are so closely interconnected. You know, in India, one of the issues we face is the emptying of the aquifers, you know, that is groundwater. That's being drained at such a pace. You know, the draining groundwater, it creates seismic issues. But most of all, it's going to lead to a catastrophic decline in agriculture, you know, and India's ability to feed itself. So you see, really what we have now in terms of the environment is not just one issue, it's a series of cascading issues, you know. And the way that they're mounting, we're already at a stage where so much of it is irreversible. So, you know, looking ahead, you know, what worries me so much is what is the world my children are going to inherit, you know, and already one can see that it's going to be a world that will be so much more difficult in so many ways.
What projects, what books are you currently working on?
Well, I've been working for a long time on a series of books. It's called the Ibis Trilogy. The first book was Sea of Poppies, the second was River of Smoke. Now I'm working on the third book. So, you know, with a bit of luck, I hope to finish in a year or two.
Thank you very much for the interesting talk. It was a pleasure for us to have you at CivilNet, and welcome again to Armenia. I hope you really enjoyed these 5 days that you are staying here. And as a reminder, tomorrow Amitav Ghosh will be talking at American University of Armenia in the scope of Strategies of Unsilencing conference. And please be present there. You will really enjoy the talk. Thank you.